This is Sky News at 4, the top stories. North Korea launches another intercontinental ballistic missile, which analysts say could reach major US cities. Another ousting at the White House as Donald Trump replaces Reince Priebus with a new chief of staff. The Pope and Theresa May lead the tributes to baby Charlie Gard following his death in a hospice. Fireworks and bottles are hurled at police as a protest in East London over the death of Rasham Charles descends into violence. A controversial scheme allowing festival goers to check their illegal substances without fear of prosecution is rolled out at events across the country.
In sport, rain halts England's progress in the third test against South Africa at the Oval. It advantaged Sebastian Vettel for tomorrow's Hungarian Grand Prix. He starts on pole with Lewis Hamilton fourth. And joy for Frankie Dettori as he rides Enable to victory in the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes at Ascot.
A very good afternoon to you. The United States and South Korea have carried out a live fire exercise in response to North Korea's latest intercontinental ballistic missile test. Analysts say the trajectory of the missile, which landed in the Sea of Japan, could mean that cities in the United States are now within Pyongyang's range. Sky's Katie Stallard has this report.
This time they chose to launch at night and from a previously unknown location. There are still doubts about this missile's accuracy and the technology to miniaturize a nuclear warhead to arm it, but that is where this is headed, and faster than anyone predicted. Katie Stallard, Sky News.
Donald Trump has sacked his chief of staff days after a row with the new White House communications director. Reince Priebus has been replaced by former Homeland Security Secretary General John Kelly. It follows an expletive-laden rant on Thursday, during which new communications director Anthony Scaramucci accused Mr. Priebus of orchestrating leaks to the press. Well, it's the latest in a long string of high-profile exits since Donald Trump took office. The first was Sally Yates, fired as acting Attorney General just days after Trump's inauguration. National Secretary Advisor Michael Flynn resigned after just 23 days in the job. In March, US Attorney Preet Bharara was fired after refusing to resign. Soon after that, Trump's Deputy Chief of Staff, Katie Walsh, left the White House. In May, FBI Director James Comey was sacked. Later on that month, Scaramucci's predecessor, Mike Duke, quit. Press Secretary Sean Spicer resigned last week, and his assistant, Michael Short, soon followed suit, making Reince Priebus's firing rather familiar tale, as our US correspondent Greg Milam now reports.
We could perhaps have seen the signs of what was about to come from Donald Trump. Has yet to show it can deliver what it promised. Greg Milam, Sky News, Los Angeles.
Protesters clashed with police in East London last night following a demonstration over the death of Rasham Charles. Fires were set and bottles were thrown at riot officers as they tried to disperse the group. Mr. Charles died last Saturday after being chased by police. The Sky's Enda Brady joins us now from Stoke Newington Police Station. And Enda, tensions certainly running high there yesterday.
Yes, they were last night. We've had a statement through from the Metropolitan Police regarding those incidents last night in Dalston and Hackney in the east of London. Now, the Metropolitan Police are telling us that they made one arrest last night, a 17-year-old youth on suspicion of grievous bodily harm, and he remains in a police station in East London this afternoon where he will be spoken to by detectives. One of the officers last night suffered an eye injury but remains fit for duty, and one member of the public was pulled off a bicycle after he attempted to ride through those makeshift barricades that were set up late last night. So we saw fires being set and general unrest, and the police have issued a statement today just warning people not to behave like that again this evening or they will make further arrests. Now, this afternoon here at Stoke Newington Police Station, there was a small peaceful protest held on behalf of the family and friends of Rasham Charles to let the police investigation and indeed the Independent Police Complaints Commission investigation take its course.
OK, Enda, thanks very much for that update there. The Pope and Theresa May have been paying tribute to Charlie Gard after he died in a hospice yesterday. The 11-month-old was the focus of an intense legal battle between his parents and doctors. Charlie passed away after a judge ordered that he be moved to a hospice and his life support be withdrawn. Adele Robinson has this report.
Hey!
This is about a sweet, gorgeous, innocent little boy. We always have and we always will, and we are so sorry that we couldn't save you.
Now gone, a beautiful little boy. His family said he touched the world. Adele Robinson, Sky News.
And later on we'll have a special report on Charlie Gard and the legal battle around his case. That's The Fight for Charlie at 6:30 and 8:30 tonight here on Sky News. Now, coming up, we've got the latest on Donald Trump's new chief of staff. Will he be able to control the deluge of departures from the White House? Welcome back, you're watching Sky News. Let's get more now on the sacking by Donald Trump of his chief of staff, Reince Priebus. The sixth high-profile exit from the administration in just 6 months. Let's go live to Washington and the White House correspondent for McClatchy Newspapers, Franco Ordonez now. And Franco, just talk us through, there have been so many resignations and sackings over the last few months. What exactly should we read into this about President Trump's administration?
It's a big move. I mean, what you're seeing is essentially the wiping out of the political and party veterans, the Republican Party and political veterans that the Trump administration had been brought in into what many have felt were to kind of smooth the ship at the Trump White House. And now likely he's going to be bringing in some campaign staff, former campaign staff, more Trump insiders. And that's brought up a lot of questions about what's going to be next at this White House.
And there has been a lot of criticism, hasn't there, of Reince Priebus, some saying that he was leaking things to the media. What kind of impact has that had?
It's had a major impact. You know, Priebus was never a Trump insider. Trump brought in a new communications director, Anthony Scaramucci, who came in with, really a guns a-blazing and really targeting Priebus with some of the most salacious quotes that, I think I've heard in my career about someone at that level at the White House. It has caused so much anxiety, you could say, at the White House. Definitely people are on edge. You got people who are saying this is a surreal experience going on here right now.
And you mentioned the new communications director. He certainly ruffled a few feathers. Some have said that he's almost Trump-esque in his attitudes, if you like. Is that a fair assessment?
I think it's a fair assessment. There's been some video parodies that have come out that show kind of like the different gesticulations that Trump does and that Anthony does with the kissing and the movements and the signs, that they're almost identical in much of the body language that they use. It's pretty fascinating, actually. And that's why they're calling him mini Trump in some ways.
And the replacement as chief of staff, of course, General John Kelly. What's the reaction to that in the United States?
I think this is kind of a wait and see. I mean, General Kelly has a lot of respect. He did a lot of good work. Even before he was at Homeland Security, he ran Southcom here in the United States. Really felt like he was someone who really who gained respect from both Democrats and Republicans. However, he is not a politician, and you're representing a Trump administration that is really trying to bring the party together. In addition, as we've just talked about, some of the friction of the zaniness at this White House, there's a big expectation for Kelly to kind of smooth the ship and to kind of rein in some of this, for lack of a better word, chaos at the White House.
Do you think he'll be able to stop any more departures?
I don't think he's going to be able to stop any more departures. That's for sure. I mean, there's so much scuttlebutt about the large expectation that there's going to be a lot more people leaving. Priebus was the top RNC, Republican National Committee person. He's the third, as you noted, in the last week who's left. There's about 2 or 3 dozen RNC officials at the White House and at the Vice President's office. And there's a lot of talk that all of them or many of them are going to be leaving and replaced with Trump campaign officials. As one source told us, they see the writing on the wall and that it's a challenging time.
And I just want to ask you very quickly, North Korea, we've seen yet another missile test today. Well, it was yesterday, of course. This is a big problem now for Donald Trump, isn't it?
It is absolutely a big problem. It's something that, Donald Trump is looking at very closely. The Republican, both parties are watching very closely. And it's hard, all this kind of zaniness and crowdiness has really made it hard to kind of focus on some of those important issues like what's North Korea, how to respond to it, because so much of the attention is being paid to political, just these problems and these issues.
OK, Franco Ordonez, thanks very much for your time this afternoon. Thanks
for having me.
You're watching Sky News. Let's cross over now to the Sky Sports News studio for an update from there.
This sports bulletin is brought to you by Vitality. Get healthy, get rewarded.
Thanks very much. Good afternoon. Sebastian Vettel has an excellent opportunity to extend his advantage over Lewis Hamilton in Rhinos by 43 points to 24 at the Keith Moat Stadium. They were 12-6 down late in the first half, but a fine comeback. They will now play Wigan or Salford in the final. There's more live on Sky Sports News. We're back at 10 to 5.
Vitality. Get healthy, get rewarded.
Well, let's take a look at the weather now.
Ensuring brighter days ahead. Blue Insurance Home Insurance. Proud sponsors of Sky News Weather.
Northern Ireland, the Republic and Scotland will see further showers this evening and tonight, whilst England and Wales will have a spell of rain. That rain will affect much of southern England, the Midlands and Wales into this evening, before moving across northern England overnight, finally clearing into the North Sea. Most of England and Wales will then have a dry end to the night, but southwest England and Wales will start to see a few showers developing. Meanwhile, Northern Ireland, the Republic and western Scotland will continue to a scattering of showers, but eastern Scotland will become largely dry. Sunday will be another unsettled day. Widespread showers will develop during the morning with some heavy downpours, hail and thunder.
Blue Insurance Home Insurance. Proud sponsors of Sky News Weather.
This is Sky News coming up. We've got all the latest technology news that's in Swipe.
Cube, Monday at 6 on Challenge, home of the Cube.
You're watching Sky News, the top stories. South Korea and the US have carried out a live fire exercise following a test launch by North Korea of an intercontinental ballistic missile. Donald Trump appoints General John Kelly as his new chief of staff after sacking Reince Priebus. And the Pope and Theresa May are among those who paid tribute to baby Charlie Gard, who died in a hospice yesterday. Well, it's time now for Sky's weekly technology show Swipe. Here's Gemma.
Bringing the latest technology to your home. The Swipe Report on Sky News is sponsored by Currys PC World and Ring.
Welcome to Swipe. Well, that's it from us here in Cambridge this week. Join us again next time for more Swipe. And in the meantime, follow us on Twitter at Sky News Swipe. I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bringing the latest technology to your home. The Swipe Report on Sky News is sponsored by Currys PC World and Ring.
The Local Government Association says almost a quarter of shops have sold knives to children as young as 12 years old. The LGA says irresponsible retailers are putting lives at risk after alarming results in test purchases. Well, the London Trading Standards carried out 725 test purchases across the capital last year. Of those, 96 resulted in blades being sold to children as young as 13. Now, 7 out of 29 shops, including 2 major supermarkets, sold a knife to a person under the age of 18. And on top of that, 4 retailers sold either razor blades or craft knives to a 15 or a 16-year-old. Well, retailers who failed test purchases have been prosecuted or cautioned, but experts say gang culture and violence must be addressed as well.
It isn't just about, oh, young people are unfair, they don't want to join the gangs. It's now become culture, and we have to tackle culture. We have to tackle some of the underlying issues why young people want to carry acid, want to carry a knife, want to buy a knife.
There have been more anti-government protests in Venezuela ahead of a vote tomorrow, which critics say will allow the country's president, Nicolas Maduro, to create a dictatorship. More than 110 people have died in clashes over the last 4 months. Protesters want to end to food and medicine shortages in a country gripped by economic crisis, even though it has massive oil resources. Campaigners say boric acid, malaria, medication and even cement have been found in recreational drugs sold to UK festival goers. They're launching a controversial scheme allowing drug users to test the substances they bring to festivals without the fear of prosecution. Sky's Nick Martin has this report.
The Kendal Calling Festival in Cumbria, home for the weekend to 25,000 people. About their dangers is not easy to solve. Nick Martin, Sky News, Kendal.
This is Sky News. Coming up, it's a happy... Welcome back. You're watching Sky News. Let's cross over now to the sports studio for an update from there.
Thanks, Rebecca. Good afternoon. Sebastian Vettel has an excellent opportunity to extend his advantage over Lewis Hamilton. There's more over on Sky Sports News, and we're back in the next hour.
While gentle winds cool Europe, an air of hospitality rolls through Bali.
Northern Ireland, the Republic and Scotland will see further showers this evening and tonight, whilst England and Wales will have a spell of rain. That rain will affect much of southern England, the Midlands and Wales this evening, before moving across northern England overnight, finally clearing into the North Sea. Most of England and Wales will then have a dry end to the night, but southwest England and Wales will start to see a few showers developing. Meanwhile, Northern Ireland, the Republic and western Scotland will continue to have a scattering of showers, but eastern Scotland will become largely dry.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
You're watching Sky News. Coming up, why it's all change again at the White House as a new chief of staff is appointed. Gillian will have the latest on that. Plenty more coming up after the break.